Pascal. You are now rocking with that dude Pascal. We be going wild, Haitian in the building, so original. Got the haters catching feelings. Get your hands up to the ceiling and keep them held high, cause St. Louis isn't ready. Forget about it, goodbye. Hold on, we just saying hi. Five somebody, rise up weekdays. Catch us live, somebody, let's go.
Good afternoon, everybody. Good evening and good morning. Welcome to the Pascal Show. Now, this is a story that's been going on already. This has been going on for a little bit. I was busy doing another show with my sister for the Real Beef with S&P. So I'm a little bit behind on this story, but I still wanted to hop on and give you guys this update. This is a breaking news story. There's an active monster right now, and we're right now in the middle of it. I'm still trying to get full grasp of everything. Apparently, it's over an eviction notice. I don't know. I'm still trying to figure this whole thing out. I'm still trying to understand it myself. We're going to take a look at this. We got some live footage going on here as well, and we are going to be talking about this. I appreciate all y'all for being here. It really does mean a lot, at such last minute, but this is a breaking story right now developing as we speak. Let me show you exactly what I mean. This is still an active piece right now. Hold on, guys, so that you guys can all see this. Hold on, my golly. It's been a busy morning and busy afternoon already for me, but I do appreciate you guys being here. Do me a favor. It's right here. So just so that you guys know it exists, a little bit of housekeeping. Do me a favor. Hit that like button down below. Crush it, crush it, crush it. Make it scream out your doggone name and all that good stuff. That would really, really mean a lot. Of course, if you're watching on Facebook, don't forget to hit that reaction button down below. And of course, if you're watching on YouTube and on Facebook, make sure you hit that subscribe button on YouTube and on Facebook. Make sure you hit that follow button over there as well. Okay? This is breaking news, and I haven't covered one of these stories in a really long time because there really hasn't been active stuff lately, but now we're getting them all over again. It's weird. It's wild. I don't get it. We're going to get into this here in a second because obviously they are still doing updates as we speak, okay, because there's a lot going on here. But before we get into that, I'm going to give you guys a little bit of like what the heck is going on here, because this, to me, I'm still confused, right? I caught wind of this hopping off of my show with my sister, and then suddenly I saw all of this starting to percolate all over the internets. So I wanted to share this with you guys, and my heart and thoughts and prayers go out to everybody who is being affected by this situation, because this is terrifying, okay? This is a terrifying situation, and from what I'm understanding, it has to do with an eviction notice or something like that. Let's get into this article. We're going to go into this quickly so we can get into, hold on. Let me make sure everything's running smoothly. Everything seems to be good. Everything seems to be all right. And actually, let me see if I can just reboot. Hold on, guys. Okay. Hopefully you guys can hear me in all that. It seemed to be tripping like crazy. So hopefully you guys are good. Looks like everything's still good to go. Okay, guys. All right. First off, Nikisha, thank you so much for the 5. Thank you for always jumping on these cases. We appreciate you. By the way, your audio is in and out. Interesting. Well, hopefully it's fine now. Hopefully I'm good now. Okay. If it's good, make sure you hit that number 1. Hit the number 1. Let me know, or I'm going to have to like reboot the whole thing here. Okay. So just hit the number 1. Let me make sure that everything's Gucci, because I had to refresh the page, and hopefully everything's good now, but it might not be. I don't know. Okay. So let us get into some things. Okay. We got some stories to tell before we jump into everything here, but apparently there is an active monster on the right now. active. And from my understanding and from what I've gathered so far, there was a hostage situation, and maybe there isn't a hostage situation anymore. Like I said, I'm still learning about everything as we go. So I'm going to get into this. Thank you guys for all the number ones. So good. Audio is good. Okay. Thank you, my miracle. I appreciate it. My miracle mama. Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So yeah, it seems to be really, really choppy for some weird reason. Everything. See, that's weird. Hold on, guys. This thing is tripping. Yeah. Janine said no hostage situation because it seemed as if they said that they let somebody go. Someone was let go. So I do want to make sure that that is abundantly clear. But I am still having some technical issues. Hold tight for like a few seconds, guys. I will be right back. All right, apologies, fam. Sorry about that. I had some technical issues. Wasn't getting any of the YouTube chats, any of the Facebook. It was just weird. So I had to make sure I had everything back to normal. But I do appreciate all y'all for being here. Everything's rebooting back up. So just give me 2 seconds. I'm just getting things back in order so we can get into this story. So, as we know, there is an active monster in the middle of stuff, in the middle of some things. Apparently, he's barricaded inside this home. Has to do with some sort of eviction notice. And I guess this caused this assailant, to have some sort of mental break. So I am still trying to get that piece right now. It looks like, wow. Okay. Let's take this. Somebody is getting out. Okay.
They raced They get him into the truck, and they get that truck out of there, knowing that he does not have any of the gear to keep him safe. They surround him to make sure that he's safe. Here's that video once again. This is again right next door. While this is taking place, you can't hear it right now, but while this rescue is taking place, gunfire, shots going off. And we learned what that gunfire was actually police using cover. So they're firing to keep the shooter from firing, to make sure that they can get that neighbor to safety. Amazing video.
Yeah, that was
so
just
that's
incredible
the neighbor.
to watch. And we've heard that they had also gone into some other homes. They were asking people to reach out to them, call 911 if you need assistance getting out of your home. Initially, there had been that shelter-in-place order. Then they helped with evacuations of folks in the neighborhood. So this has just been an active scene. And Shannon, you said not long ago, we're almost on hour 5. So this is really just taken over the day for the folks who are in this area.
Yeah, and Kelly, we talk about the flow of information from public safety officials, and it has not been a heavy flow. We have heard very little from the city of Pittsburgh on their Twitter feed. 3 hours ago, they posted on their social media that they're beginning to evacuate people from that 4800 block. A short time later, we heard state police tell us that they were in charge of the situation. And then the only thing we're hearing from Pittsburgh Public Safety right now is that, no, they are actually the ones calling the shots in this case. That's what they're posting. We are asking for more information, but we haven't gotten much from Pittsburgh Public Safety. And as we continue to bring you information, what we have had is a lot of really valuable information from police sources, from Marcy Cipriani.
Well, before we get to Marcy, we do want to go to Paul Van Osdal, who just had a chance to speak with the suspect's son.
Oh,
Paul, what's the latest?
Here we go. And I'll break down a little bit more in a second.
Well, that's right. We just got off the phone with the son of the suspect. Now, the suspect's name is William Hardison. He is 63 years old. His son is also named William Hardison. He is 40 years old. Now, the suspect's son is a truck driver. He's based in Georgia. We spoke with him while he was on a route. He was actually stopped in Ohio, and he spoke with us about the trauma that he and his family are going through and their efforts to try to reach out to their father about this whole incident. Let's play a little bit of what he had to say.
Hey, Dad, please surrender. Please give up. You have children and grandchildren. I love you dearly. Please stand down.
What's he like as a person?
He's a great. He's a very stern individual. He's a man's man. You know what I mean? But he stands on what he believes in, and when he believes in something, he's gonna fight tooth and nail about it. But he's a great person outside of that. You know what I mean? So,
based on what we were talking about earlier, does he believe that this house rightfully belongs to him?
Yes, very much so.
Why is that?
Because my uncle, my uncle passed away. You know what I mean? And he, like I said, he only had a few more years left to pay on the house. You know what I mean? So why would they sell it to someone for $25,000 when hundreds of thousands of dollars have been put into that house? You know what I mean? They just redid the house. They just remodeled the house in the process of him passing away.
Wow.
And behind me now we can hear the sound of some shots being fired in the distance. Maybe a flashbang to try to draw out Mr. Hardison. You heard his son there talk about the transaction, the sale of the house. And this is a very tangled family story. What happened was the house was owned by the suspect's brother. Now, he died last year. And when he died, the will turned the house over to the father of the suspect, William Hardison, and his brother. Now, the father then sold the house to a local real estate company, and they are the company that filed the eviction proceedings against William Hardison, the 63-year-old William Hardison, who is still barricaded inside the house. That process started earlier this year. William Hardison has been fighting this process and refusing to leave the house. According to the court records, he has been in the house now for 5 months without paying rent. And that is what led the authorities, a judge, to order the eviction to happen this morning at 10:30. Shortly after that is when the gunfire broke out. But as you heard from William Hardison's son, the senior William Hardison believed that he deserved the house, and there was some bad blood between the father and the brother who ended up taking over the house. And so there's, again, a very tangled family story. But right now what you have is a family down in Georgia who is concerned about Mr. Hardison here, as well as their own children and grandchildren who are very concerned watching this whole situation unfold. Back to you.
Paul, have they been able to speak with him at all?
No, they have tried. Now, just moments ago, I heard from Teresa Hardison, the daughter-in-law. She said her husband, who you heard during that interview, he has been speaking with one of the negotiators in this case. So they're trying to get him in contact with his father. They've been trying repeatedly throughout the day to reach out to him, but they have not been able to.
And we had also heard from some other sources, Paul, that this person, Mr. Hardison, who's holed up in the house, is a military veteran who just lost his brother. So that does sort of check out with what we've heard in the past, maybe hour or so, about the individual that police are trying to extricate from this building. We showed a picture of, I think it was Mr. Hardison's son and his daughter-in-law there. You know, if you can, Paul, just kind of put into words what that family is going through right now, knowing that their father is at the center of this.
Well, they're very emotional about this. They're obviously very concerned about him. They acknowledge he's had some problems with the law in the past. He's never done any hard prison time. He's been mainly involved in some minor criminal activity. But their main concern now is that he get out safe and he surrender. And they've been trying to push him to surrender. And that's why they wanted to speak with me in order to try to get the word out to him that he needed to get out for the sake of his family, himself, and his grandchildren.
All right, Paul, thank you. And I do believe we have a photo here now of William Hardison, again, 63 years old. This is the man holed up inside of the home. Neighbors living along that street actually shared this picture with us here at Pittsburgh's Action News 4, and they tell us they know Hardison and his family well. Those homes are very close on that street. A lot of the neighbors know one another there.
Yeah, and Kelly, so much of today has been about the timeline here. Here's another live picture closer to the scene. You see one of those armored vehicles. And what I want to take a moment here, because during Paul Van Osdal's live shot there, as he was explaining the background and really the messy, legal situation regarding the house in question, we heard more gunfire, and it has been almost maybe a couple of hours since we've heard gunfire from the scene, I believe. And so what we're trying to do is connect the dots with what that gunfire was, what it means in this process. And so we heard that. We want you to know we heard it. We know you heard it too. And we're getting more information on what's taking place on Broad Street.
Right. And at last check, we know they were sending a drone in to try to see what the situation was inside of the home. I believe we have Marcy Cipriani standing by.
And we're going to go to Bob.
Bob. Okay, let's go out to Pittsburgh's Action News 4 reporter Bob Mayo, standing by not far in Friendship Park. And it sounds like he's just about to get an interview. So we do want to listen in on that.
Hi, there was a parent who just came picking up an employee, but they did not want to speak on camera and quickly stepped away. You can see them as they're passing a hospital security staff here. They're going towards the entrance to the emergency area of West Penn Hospital. Employees coming and going, indicating that they are still on a restricted lockdown here. Employees are able to come and go, but only through that emergency room area. That's been the case for some hours here. A short time ago, you mentioned the sound of fresh gunfire from the scene. That was audible here on the street. We're on the edge of Friendship Park, which is the rear of West Penn Hospital here along Friendship Avenue. And that gives you a sense of how close the scene is to the hospital. It was clearly audible here. If we want to look off in that area, you'll see here along Friendship Avenue a long, slow-moving, steady flow of traffic. That is much more than you would normally see at this time of day. That's because you not only have people who may be coming and going from work in this neighborhood, or residents who are doing so, or hospital employees or visitors who might be attempting to visit the hospital but cannot because of the lockdown, but you also have this backup of traffic that is because of traffic detours, the many streets in the perimeter of the shooting area that are closed. There you see a line of taillights as traffic congests in this area. You expect to see more of that as this plays out this afternoon. People passing by in their cars and asking, is it still going on? Has he surrendered yet? People looking for information, people aware at different levels of what's happening in this neighborhood, but some of them not necessarily tuned into the details, but clearly impacted by it. And that, as this continues to push into the afternoon and to the early afternoon rush hour, is going to be the case here. So continuing restricted lockdown at the hospital. Sound of gunfire when the gunfire happens is audible in this area in Friendship Park on the border of Bloomfield and Garfield and the Friendship areas. And we're continuing to monitor things here, attempting to speak to employees and people in the neighborhood as they come and go. We have spoken with some, but other folks, as the young woman and her parent who you saw a moment ago, are declining to speak on camera. But that's the latest here from Friendship Park, behind the West Penn Hospital on the border of Garfield and Bloomfield and the Friendship area. Back to you.
Okay, Bob, and we do have some brand new information from our Marcy Cipriani. We talked about the fact that the drone would be going in to the home. And as we recap what we know right now, Marcy is telling us that a drone did go in. Pittsburgh police were able to send a drone inside the house, and that the shooter in question here fired shots at the drone.
Right. The reason they were sending the drone in was because they hadn't heard from the suspect in about 30 minutes. So they sent the drone in, and it sounds like, or near, and it sounds like he spotted it and started shooting. And that might have been what we just heard in Paul's live shot, that gunfire in the background.
Here at 325, we have been on the air all day long, bringing you the latest information on the active shooter situation in Pittsburgh, in Garfield neighborhood. It started at 10:30. It's on Broad Street. It's near North Mathilda, just off of Penn Avenue. Sheriff's deputies went to that home to serve an eviction notice to a 63-year-old man who had been there for 5 months. They say without paying rent. There's a dispute about the home and the ownership of the home in question with the family. And that is why an eviction notice was being served by sheriff deputies. That sheriff's deputy then was injured, one of them, when they went to serve that notice.
Right, dodging from some of the gunfire that we heard. Periodically throughout the day, we heard these spurts of rapid gunfire. And that's really made for a really scary scene in this area. If you're unfamiliar with the area, it's about a half a mile from Children's Hospital, a very, very busy part of town. Lots of shops, lots of homes in close proximity to one another.
Guys.
Where we have Bob's Station is not far, and that's near West Penn Hospital, which is on lockdown. Children's Hospital is not on lockdown. They put out a message on their Twitter page a little over an hour ago saying that they just had enhanced security. But they are still open business as usual. If your child has an emergency, you can still take them there. But we also saw just from the traffic in Bob's shot as well that this is really having an impact on this entire side of town. And now we understand that it is still going on. That shooter apparently shooting at the drone from his home. And already earlier today, Shannon shot two drones.
Absolutely.
There it is, Morgan. Yeah.
Pittsburgh police drones that were sent up earlier. So this is a third drone that has been shot at. We're not sure kind of what happened to that drone, but they know from that, which is kind of what they were trying to find out, that the shooter is still inside. He's still alive, and he's still armed and has lots of ammunition. Throughout the day, we've heard some police dispatches about the active shooter. Let's listen in to what police were saying on the radios today.
Wow. This is insane,
actively shooting. I need people here now to shut down the street.
That's just one of the transmissions. After that, we heard another transmission of a police officer saying that there was an active shooter and that people needed to avoid the area. And then they began those evacuations. And if you could just think for a moment what those evacuations would have been like for neighbors who lived nearby the active shooter. They hear the gunfire, that rapid fire gunfire going off again and again and again. Through Twitter, Pittsburgh Public Safety is telling folks in that block, stay in your house, shelter in place, call 911, tell us what floor you're on, tell us where you are in the house. City police are going to come to your door, going to come inside and kind of escort you out to safety. I cannot imagine what that was like for neighbors who live nearby to have to go through that process.
This is crazy.
Even if you have children, if you don't have children, knowing that you had to go through those steps would be very trying. And that's what lots of Pittsburghers had to go through today. Then get to a place of safety and wait and watch for this thing to unfold and end, which it has not ended. We are still on this story because it is not over. This person is still very much a danger as he shot at a Pittsburgh police drone that was put up to.
Okay, so they're pretty much repeating the same thing over and over again. So in the meantime, while because I'm going to be hopping back and forth into this piece, but I wanted to get the bare bones, at least the foundation of what actually happened here. So it is a response to an eviction notice, and this is heartbreaking, y'all. I really hope they can resolve this without any casualties. I really hope they can, because this man, it sounds like he's got a lot of ammo and he seems very, very agitated. Understandably, I understand why he's agitated, but of course, this is not how to resolve a situation like this. So just so you know, there is a man by the name of William Hardison, or he goes by Bill Hardison. I guess the son goes by Will Hardison Jr. William Hardison Sr. is the person who's actually in the place right now. But let me just play this, see what they got to say really quick.
Avenue, excuse me, right now, and several family members of the suspect are here. A lot of emotions out here, people on the ground just very distraught. We did just speak with another family member. She talked to us just right after we heard another round of gunfire, and here's what she wanted to say about the individual in the house. Take a listen.
I read the comments.
Nice guy.
Yeah, Bill was a nice guy.
Bill's a nice guy?
He was a teddy bear. He's big, and, you know, but you would be afraid of him because he's big, but he's a teddy bear.
What made you think he lost his mind today?
Oh, because I've been knowing Bill for 40-something years, and we just, you know.
So he went to this church? And
no, he didn't go to no church. He just got involved some kind of way with believing that he didn't have to pay rent.
Believing he didn't have to pay rent.
Right. So that's why he stopped. He's paying light and gas.
Yeah.
But whatever is in his mind told him that he didn't have to pay. He didn't have to pay rent. So. And it's his brother's house.
That's sad. Well, his brother would have to evict him.
His brother's dead. He left him the house, from what I gather.
Was he in the service? Like in the military? I know the one girl was saying.
I don't know. I never remember Bill telling me about.
He's 65 years old, so he would have been close to Korea in between.
I have no idea, sir.
How do you know him?
I've been knowing Bill. He goes with my cousin. I've known, like I said, they've been together for 40-something years, and I've been knowing him all the years they've been together.
Before this, what's his personality like, though? You know, you said a teddy bear.
Yeah, he's a jokester. He would make you laugh. He'd like to, you know, make you laugh and stuff. But just, you know, that was Bill. He would just make you laugh.
But if you saw him, you would be
afraid of him, right? You intimidated and he knew that. So that's the thing, you know, he would like to, you know, he liked to show off sometimes, but he was a teddy bear.
Did he grow up in Garfield or another neighborhood? You know?
I think he's from what's that area? Oh man, I can't think right now, y'all. I can't think.
Does he have kids?
Mm-hmm.
And grandkids as well, correct?
Yeah.
This is terrible.
There's no way anybody can go in there and talk to him.
They won't let us. They won't let us.
Even on the bullhorn.
I asked that when I had got here an hour ago, and they said they don't want none of us near because active shooter. But
that's not.
and he has dogs. I even told him, I said, let his dogs go. You know, if he get his dog, you know, he would probably come out just to see his dogs. But like they say, we don't know what frame of mind he's in right now. So the dogs, us, you know.
So he's in the house that's, you said, owned by
his brother.
Yeah. You know how many weapons he has?
No, I wouldn't know.
I'm just curious. I'm just asking off the top.
Didn't even know he had weapons. Like I said, Bill took care of himself. He never, you know.
Did he? Do you know where he worked? Like, did he have a?
I don't know. He's on disability. So, from what I gather.
And when you last talked to him, he wasn't having any mental issues that you knew of.
Right. This happened. This may have been going on for maybe a year. It just got worse and worse and worse.
So who's the landlord that's
I have no idea. I have no idea.
I see people have been posting on his Facebook page, like trying to convince him to, because he had some kind of funny posts. They're trying to convince him to come out.
I haven't looked. Like I said, if they would just let me or his girlfriend go down there, I know we could get Bill out of there. But it's not like TV. You know, TV, they let you negotiate with the person. But
how did you find out it was Bill?
Karen called me. His girlfriend called me.
Anything else you'd like to say about Bill or want people to know?
We just want him out. That's all. We just want him to come out
alive and safe.
I don't know what else to say.
Is you said his fiance or girlfriend, is she like preparing for the worst?
Yeah, that's what she called me. She said, I think they're going to kill him, Marlene. I think they're going to kill him.
I hope they don't.
No, Karen, let me get you. I'm coming.
I really hope they don't.
Can you make any sense as to why he'd be getting an eviction notice if he's in the house owned by his brother?
Because he wasn't paying. Whoever he's supposed to pay, he wasn't paying them.
He was paying the light and gas.
Yeah,
but he wasn't paying the rent.
Because in his mind, he felt that he didn't have to.
That's terrible.
And just during that interview that you just listened to, I have another update. Police have not confirmed this, but one of the family members that I've been seeing throughout the day fell to the ground over outside of the nearby library and said they killed Uncle Bill. But again, that has not been confirmed by police. Of course, we'll work to get that confirmation. But for now, back to you.
Just reiterating that it's unclear the status of Bill Hardison, who's 63-year-old suspect, the shooter in this active shooter situation in Garfield. Just to reiterate from Ashley Zilka that there's a family member that believes that he may have been killed in this process, may be dead now, but we do not know that for sure. We do not have that confirmed just yet.
Let's get to Pittsburgh's Action News 4 reporter Marcy Cipriani, who's been working for sources for us all afternoon. Marcy, are you hearing that the shooter has been killed?
At this point, I have not heard that. In fact, a few minutes ago, I heard from my source that he had disabled another drone. But I have reached out to this source to find out if, in fact, that is true. As soon as I hear that, I'll let you know. But I have moved locations. It got quite tense. We were on Broad Street, and police officers there asked that we completely leave Broad Street. That's where the suspect is. That's where neighbors are gathered. But they did ask the media to leave that area. So right now, I'm at Kincaid and North Millville. I want to go ahead and show you what we can see, though, from this vantage point. You can see an officer there sort of taking cover behind that building right there. And just down from it, you can see officers in tactical gear looking sort of down the hill there. That is where the suspect home is, in the 4800 block of Broad Street. I'm in the 4900 block of Kincaid. Also, though, want to tell you, I did just get a response from my source that says, no, he is still alive, according to my source. So obviously that's some stuff that we'll have to clarify with officials here on the scene. But from this location, it does appear that they are still hiding, taking cover, using cameras, and looking in that direction. So we'll wait for some confirmation on that. But what I have heard, again, is that he disabled another drone. That is at least the third.
He's one hell of a shot, apparently.
Told me that the suspect has shot at. And since we have been here, I couldn't even give you a number of how many gunshots we heard, more than I've ever heard on a scene. So he obviously has lots and lots of ammunition inside. Through the course of the day, we saw police bringing in more ammunition. We know that every SWAT team in Western Pennsylvania is here on the scene. I'm told Pittsburgh Police SWAT is tactical command here today. This has been going on since right around 10:30, though. And from what I understand, the suspect is still inside that home. We did hear some gunshots maybe 30 minutes ago or so. So we were told that a drone was going in because they hadn't heard from him in some time. And at that point, we did hear some gunshots. So still very active scene here. My source says the suspect is still alive, and they are reading his messages to surrender over the loudspeaker. So I'm just reading that text that just came in. I'm going to get some clarification. So we may have a surrender here. I'll get some more information on that. But supposedly from my source, they are reading his messages to surrender over the loudspeaker. I'll go ahead and try to get some more information. We'll send it back to you for now.
So Marcy's continuing to get that flow of information from her sources and to figure out exactly what that means.
Lord.
And all of this is taking place while police are figuring out what their next steps will be.
Right. And all of these agencies working to coordinate. And just to be clear, the only information, the only source that we had saying that the suspect had been killed was from a family member, a nephew, it sounded like, that said that police had killed the shooter. But what we're hearing from Marcy is that is not the case. She said officers were still taking cover, which they would not be doing if that were the case. So we're going to try to get some more information there. Every SWAT team in Western Pennsylvania is here. Isn't that incredible?
It is.
Okay. Obviously there's, this is obviously still a developing story right now. Still a lot going on here. Really quick, because I've been holding on this for a while. Senator, thank you so much for giving us this information. You have met him. We were, or you say, I have met him. We were in the same veterans group. Or he was in the same veterans group as me. This is my home neighborhood. Never would have seen this coming. Yeah, I feel like when it comes to these types of tragedies, we don't. They're getting closer and closer to home, more and more every single day. Right, guys? It is pretty crazy. Clearly, this is obviously a mental health issue, a mental health crisis. This is Let me just get this, because I wrote down a whole bunch of stuff because there's a lot to dissect, a lot to break down. To me, this is most definitely a mental health crisis. It doesn't sound like there has been any casualties so far. There has been one officer, a sergeant, that was actually injured, but he was only injured because he was diving out of the way of bullets, which is a good thing. That he may have sprained an ankle or something of that sort, but he hasn't been hit by gunfire. I will say that. One other thing, okay, a couple things, because I was trying to find a photo. Like, I thought that maybe his photo would be out on the internet so I can pull it up and show you guys his face. But obviously, as you heard, neighbors were calling him a teddy bear, kind, sweet person, right? But this is bad. And now this is really sad, but I will say this really, really quick. Lee, that's not entirely correct. The brother gave him the house when his brother passed. His brother passed away. His brother's gone. Okay. Brother gave him the house. And then when they went and did, he went on to live in that house. But I guess because he maybe couldn't afford it or something like that, he sold the house to a real estate agency, a real estate company. That real estate company, I guess, was charging him rent, mortgage of some sort. And I guess William Hardison Sr. thought that he didn't have to pay anything. So for 5 months, he didn't pay anything. He didn't pay rent. He didn't pay nothing for that at all. And then out of nowhere, he gets an eviction notice from the real estate company saying he needs to vacate the premises. Then he needs to pack up his stuff and go. Now, this was a house that was given to him by his brother. His brother passed away. This is the only thing he has left, I'm sure. That one is a piece of his family and maybe one of the last things that he owns. And I guess by him believing in his mind that he gave or sold the house to the real estate company, I guess in his mind, he thought that he didn't have to pay anything. But that real estate company thought different. And of course, he received an eviction notice. The other thing is they sold the house for upwards of $25,000. At least that's what I've gathered so far. Sold the house for $25,000, and basically they said he needs to get out. And this is the reason why we are here right now. This gets us to where we are right now, which is this man losing his home and losing his sanity. He is also a military vet, as we just heard from Sinner as well, but he isn't a military vet. He clearly is locked, stocked, and suited and booted with all kinds of weaponry, or at least a whole bunch of ammunition. And it seems like he's a hell of a shot because he's shooting these doggone drones down too. He shot down 3 now, guys. Three of them. So I don't know how this happened. I really don't know. I mean, with the real estate company, how could the real estate company do this to this man? I don't know. But they said, unless they stated this wrong, they sold, allegedly they say that the real estate company sold the house for $25,000 and he didn't pay rent. So the real estate company ordered an eviction notice and he didn't take that very kindly. And this is where we are right now. So far, there have been no casualties. Neighbors have evacuated. Most of the neighbors have evacuated. There is no hostage situation. He didn't take anybody against their will or anything of that sort. He is just holed up in that house, angry, refusing to leave the house. Just so that you guys know. But he didn't pay his rent for about 5 months. He avoided paying rent. Because at least according to a friend, one of the friends' interviews said, this kind, loving teddy bear, William Hardison, thought that he didn't have to pay rent and that he just had to pay gas, electric, and whatnot, the utilities. So it seems as if there's a little bit of a mental break here. And this is heartbreaking, guys. This is really, really heartbreaking. I hope law enforcement do the right thing and proceed with caution and proceed with care, because this is clearly a mental health issue. And I hope it doesn't turn into anything worse than it already has become. Let's continue. I'm going to play a little bit more of this, but we're obviously finding out more information here, and this is terrible. They might have sold, some of y'all going like, they got $25,000 houses in America. You never know. They may have sold the land. I don't know. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. This is so sad, guys. But let's hear what they got to say.
Right behind me here, it's making a lot of noise, but
wow,
just
more?
To get a little perspective on this, we spoke recently, just hours ago, to the son of William Hardison. The son of William Hardison, the 63-year-old man who is a suspect right now. And you can hear it's getting very loud behind me right now. A lot of shots with flashbangs going off. We spoke with him. He's a truck driver based in Georgia, and he has been trying to get a hold of his father all day to try to talk him into surrendering. And you'll hear him in this brief interview we had reference the case that led to this eviction. It's a tangled web involving William Hardison's brother, involving his father, and it all started about a year ago. But let's now go to the interview
my
with
Lord.
William Hardison's son, who we just spoke to within the last hour.
He can't even think. He can't even think clearly.
Please surrender. Please give up. If you have children and grandchildren that love you dearly, please stand down.
What's he like as a person?
He's a great. He's a very stern individual. You know, he's a man's man. You know what I mean? But he stands on what he believes in, and when he believes in something, he's gonna fight tooth and nail about it. You know, but he's a great person outside of that. You know what I mean? So,
based on what we were talking about earlier, does he believe that this house rightfully belongs to him?
Yes, very much so.
Why is that?
Because my uncle, you know, my uncle passed away. You know what I mean? And he, like I said, he only had a few more years left to pay on the house. You know what I mean? So why would they sell it to someone for $25,000 when hundreds of thousands of dollars been put into that house? You know what I mean? They just redid the house. They just remodeled the house in the process of him passing away.
And now, just to put a little context to what William Hardison's son just said there, this house on Broad Street in Garfield was owned by William Hardison's brother. His brother died last year, and then under the terms of his estate, William Hardison's father, the father of him and his brother, is the one who inherited the house. Earlier this year, he sold that house to a local real estate company, but he basically started squatting in the house. He's been there for at least 5 months without paying any rent, and that's what led to these eviction proceedings. So when the son says William Hardison felt like the house belonged to him, that has a lot to do with the tangled family history, some bad blood between him and his father and his brother, and as well the concern about the house being sold. In his view, it was sold out from under him. Now, I just minutes ago spoke to William Hardison's former attorney, who tells me that he represented Hardison in some minor scrapes with police in the last few years, but Hardison was a believer in this sovereign state theory, that essentially he believed that the police in the state did not have any authority over him, and he had the right to do what he wanted, and he would stand up to police even in a traffic stop, and that's what led him to get into trouble a couple of times earlier. And we're going to continue to follow this throughout the rest of the afternoon. Back to you.
It's interesting that he might have been on the police radar there too, Paul, that they knew about him and, had some concerns possibly. So, Paul, we're asking you to do a lot here today. So you're sifting through all of the information regarding the sale of this home and the criminal history and the history of this individual who is now causing such a problem in the community and a danger in the community. But while you're doing that, Paul, there is a lot of loud sounds behind you, and we're trying to parse out exactly what those are. As you're reporting, we know that the police had been saying they could use flashbangs today, but also gunfire. Tell us a little bit about what you just heard. Here we are coming up on 6 hours into this.
6 hours? Bruh.
Yeah, well, as you could probably hear, when we started our live shot, there was a lot of noise, a lot of what could have been either flashbangs or gunfire going off down in the vicinity of where the house is, which is maybe a quarter mile away from here. So, yeah, it was very loud. We've heard sporadic instances of that throughout the day, and where there was a gap of a couple hours or so where we didn't hear that, but and then you heard it just pick up quite a bit here in just the last few minutes. And obviously, it's unclear exactly what's going on. As you have reported earlier, there were attempts to get a drone inside the house. We should add that Mr. Hardison is a military veteran, honorable discharge, according to him. So he's clearly very familiar with firearms, but we don't know exactly what types of firearms were being used or whether those were actually firearms or whether they were flashbangs intended to try to coax him out somehow. One thing I will also say, Hardison's son, who we spoke with earlier, had been on the phone with police negotiators trying to figure out a way to talk him into surrendering. And he said he was, as you heard, he was very concerned, obviously, for his father's health and safety. Also wanted to express the concern of his grandchildren down in Georgia, who are really worried about him right now.
No doubt. I'm sure that the family is very, very much worried about him, Paul. That's a lot of background information. Interesting. We had heard about the military background as well. So in the situation, all the efforts to try to get Mr. Hardison out of the house safely and to surrender, that hasn't happened yet. All of those efforts have failed so far.
That is terrifying. I mean, that went on for what felt like almost a minute in the background of his shot. Pittsburgh's Action News reporter Marcy Cipriani has been working with police sources. She is joining us now. Marcy, have you heard what that gunfire was about?
Yeah.
Well, it was probably about a minute. In fact, the photographer I'm working with timed it. That gunfire you heard was a minute long. From what my source says, he may be shot, but he is still shooting. And what it sounded like to us was an exchange of gunfire. It sounded like multiple guns going off, and it did last about a minute. What I also can tell you is they have deployed some sort of gas. We can actually smell it here where we are. Give you an idea of where my location is. This is Kincaid and North Millvale. You'll see some officers hiding there behind homes and some sort of looking down. They're looking down onto Broad Street. They're looking in the 4800 block of Broad, and that is where this suspect has been shooting, officials say, since right around 10:30 this morning. A lot of gunfire coming from there, but I have to tell you that last one we just heard was one of the most significant, at least for me. We did take a little bit of cover there behind our vehicle. It seemed as if the gunfire was hitting off maybe some of these buildings nearby. That could have been just what it felt like to me, but that suspect is still firing inside the home. Once again, this started, police say, with sheriff's deputies serving an eviction notice. One sheriff's deputy was injured, but we're told not shot. And at this point, that is the only injury we have heard, despite all of the gunshots fired here throughout the day. We know that every SWAT team in Western Pennsylvania is on the scene. The state police are here. Pittsburgh police are in command of this scene. Pittsburgh paramedics, their SWAT section is here on the scene as well. So right now we haven't gotten an update from police about that latest exchange, what has sounded like an exchange of gunfire or the gas that they deployed. But we can certainly tell you they did deploy something. We can smell it here in the air. We are about a block and a half or so away from where this is, 1 block up, 1 block over. As soon as I get some more information, though, on what happened in that exchange, I'll get that to you.
That's crazy.
You were able just with your own ears to determine if there was a flashbang.
So just so you guys know, I'm just putting on mute for right now. But just so you guys know, yeah, sounds like some family members did him dirty. And that's really, really bad. That's terrible. And yes, reality, Christy. Yes. This is over an eviction notice. Actually, sheriff deputies came to deliver or serve an eviction notice. He didn't take it very kindly. He didn't like it very much, and he opened fire. But thankfully, none of the officers that came to deliver or to serve that eviction notice were actually hurt. So that's actually good news. I'm going to be real. If we can leave, or he can get out of there, surrender, and leave without losing his life, without this being a casualty, I am here for it 110%. Now, the other thing they did say in the very beginning of this lady speaking out, this reporter speaking out, they did say that he could have been hit. If it sounded like what she said, he may have been hit with a bullet. I don't know, but from what it sounded like, he may have been hit, but I don't know if that's entirely true. Okay. So we're going to still listen and see what else they're going to say here, but still, this is heartbreaking, y'all. It sounds like a family member did him dirty, sold the house. Obviously, it sounds like against his will, and out of protest, it seems as if he just said, I ain't paying nothing. I'm going to pay the gas. I'm going to pay electric. I'll pay that water bill, but I ain't paying nothing. And then now you got the real estate company that owns the house basically saying, hey, we sold the house and you need to get the hell out. And that's basically what we're understanding, or we're getting so far. So real quick, I know some people are asking, like, what the heck is going on here? There is a man by the name of William Hardison that is inside a house right now. And actually, I do have a photo of him. So let me grab that and share that with y'all too. Again, this is terrible, y'all. This is terrible. This is this is pushing somebody to the brink, literally. This is Bill Hardison right here, or William Hardison Sr., just so you guys know. He's the one who's actually inside the house right now, wielding a firearm, and is not very happy. Let's take a listen to this here.
Park, which is behind West Penn Hospital, as you can see here, and through a portion of the afternoon as this incident has been playing out blocks away from here. They had been on a restricted lockdown. We've been in communication with AHN, Allegheny Health Network. They say that they're no longer under a restricted lockdown, but they're now in a controlled access situation. Previously, only employees were allowed to enter and exit through the emergency room area at the start and beginning of their shifts. They're now saying that West Penn Hospital patients with appointments or other businesses in the hospital can enter and exit the hospital at select entrance points with enhanced security presence here. So that is the situation. But as you're seeing, there is still a lineup of cars here along Friendship Avenue, looping around frequent red taillights flashing because traffic is, which is normally starting to get heavier around this time of day, is heavier still and has been through the day because of the number of streets in the vicinity that have been closed because of this ongoing incident, and streets closed and the presence of SWAT teams here. So that situation playing out. There were moments earlier in this incident where employees were being escorted by hospital security to their vehicles as they left the building, having to go down the street in the direction of where we periodically have heard the sound of gunfire in the distance. So that's the latest here from Friendship Park, right behind West Penn Hospital. Reporting live, Bob Mayo, Pittsburgh's Action News 4.
All right, Bob, thank you very much. And we just want to welcome Andrew into our coverage now this afternoon. Shannon's going to take a break, go back to the newsroom, get the
audio
and work some sources for us as well. But as you see, we've had crews all over the area, and they are working every angle of this story best we can. So we do want to do a reset for you and get you up to speed if you're just joining us here.
Here we go.
That's right. Pittsburgh's Action News 4 at 4 o'clock starts right now.
Oh, they're just starting this.
Action News 4
Pittsburgh Action News. Oh, Lord.
Gunshots ring out in a Pittsburgh neighborhood.
And I mean, they've been firing and firing and firing.
An hours-long battle between police and a barricaded man.
We heard it. We heard a bunch of cops rolling down the street.
Neighbors evacuated and rescued. Smoke and gas deployed in an effort to end the standoff.
Terrible. It's scary because I'm like thinking kids, people's houses, bullets don't have no names. Bullets can go through houses.
Facts. She ain't wrong with that.
All right, and good afternoon. And we do want to thank you for joining us.
They need to fix her mic.
Action News 4 at 4 o'clock. I'm Kelly Sasso.
And good afternoon. I am Andrew Stocky. We're keeping you on top of this developing situation unfolding today here in the city of Pittsburgh.
Work on the mics. That's crazy, y'all. That's crazy.
The gunfire ringing out throughout the Garfield neighborhood today. This video taken at a nearby home. And those gunshots, as you heard, are deafening.
And we are told this is the suspect, Bill Hardison. Pittsburgh's Action News 4 speaking with his family a short time ago as they're calling for him to surrender.
We'll have that for you in just a moment. But first, take a look at this. The center of the investigation this afternoon. We're talking about the area of Broad Street and North Mathilda. Of course, this is the Garfield neighborhood we've been talking about all afternoon. Now, Pittsburgh Public Safety says evacuations are underway, with officers evacuating people from homes in the 4800 block of Broad Street. People inside there, they've been told all day long, shelter in place, then call 911 to identify your location and your address. Officers then will enter the area and guide you to a safe area. Now, Pittsburgh's Action News 4 reporter Marcy Cipriani, she's been on the ground all afternoon long following the very latest developments. She joins us live from the scene right now. So, Marcy, at this hour, what can you tell us?
Well, Andrew, according to my source, they are now sending a robot inside the bathroom. I'm told the suspect was on the second floor of that home in the bathroom. They believe he may be injured or he may be deceased, but they are sending a robot in to confirm that. And this is following what we heard just a short time ago, a minute's worth of gunfire. That is, I can't even count how many times we've heard rapid gunfire here since shortly after 10:30 when this shooting started. I want to go ahead though and show you where I am. You can see the officers over there. They are about a block behind the 4800 block of Broad Street. That is where the home is located, where investigators say the shooting started after sheriff's deputies arrived here to serve an eviction notice. We are told that one sheriff's deputy was injured at that point once the shooting started, but not injured and is expected to be okay. Now, throughout the day, every SWAT team in Western Pennsylvania, according to my source, has been here on the scene and remains here on the scene, as well as the state police SWAT team. They are here as well, several different agencies, and they had been communicating with the suspect. Just a short time ago, they were actually trying to get him to surrender. Then we heard flashbangs, and then we smelled gas being deployed. We could actually smell that over here. That's when that rapid gunfire started. So once again, the latest information from my source is that they are sending a robot in second floor bathroom to see if the suspect is still alive. That is the very latest from my location here, about a block and a half away from this shooting in Garfield. Marcy Cipriani.
Just to see if he's
Marcy,
still alive.
Before you go, you've been out there all afternoon long. Give our viewers a sense of these gunshots. Obviously, there was a number of gunshots a short time ago. How many have happened today, and how large have they been?
Well, you know, Andrew, they started almost immediately after we arrived. So obviously there were some before we came. That's what created the scene here. But when we got here a little after 11, we were immediately greeted by rapid fire. And I couldn't even estimate how many. It's definitely more than 500 rounds, probably closer to 1,000 at this point. It's been happening all day long in rapid succession. There's been a little break in between, and then it starts up again. And the most recent ones, like I said, lasted about a minute. That was the longest. There's a couple of times during the day where we've actually taken cover behind vehicles. A woman was yelling for us to go inside her home, but we are a block over from Broad Street. And just down there is where the home is. So there is a lot of homes in our way. We were along Broad Street for a good amount of time today. A lot of people were gathered there. Police moved us out of that area just a short time ago. So I can't tell you that there has been longer than maybe an hour break in the gunshots throughout the day, Andrew.
Frightening scene, Marcy. Marcy Cipriani live for us on that location in Garfield. Please stay safe. Get to a safe location. Hopefully the last of those today, but we will see.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and really amazing to say with the amount of gunfire that, as far as we know right now, no one has been shot. No bystanders and no officers. But we, of course, we're going to keep you posted. Still a fluid situation. And as we did tell you, this all began as sheriff's deputies were serving an eviction notice this morning.
Okay.
Now we're told this is the suspect, Bill.
That's what they're saying, that this is the suspect, Bill Hardison, and this is all over a house. And I don't know. I guess it's like he's having a mental break and is firing off into police, into the public. It's very dangerous, all that stuff. Let's see what they got to say here.
Of William Hardison, whose name is also William Hardison. He is a truck driver based in Atlanta. We spoke to him while he was on the road.
Interview.
He was in Ohio, and he and his family have been trying all day to try to get a hold of his father and beg him to come out. And he talked to us in the hopes that his father would hear this message.
Hey, Dad, please surrender. Please give up.
Okay.
You have children and
We have heard that part already a couple times over. Now, reality, what about the dog? Please explain, because I haven't heard anything about a dog. Was a dog in the house? Because you got to remember, they said that he may have been hit, that he may have received a bullet, but we don't know yet. What we know right now is that they are going. They're using a robot to go in through the bathroom, to maybe go up to the second floor to see if he is still alive, if he is still breathing right now. I'm hoping that he's still breathing. I'm hoping, like I said, I'm hoping that this does not turn into a more tragic situation. Thank God these stray bullets and stuff that are flying all over the place, because he's been firing off like crazy. This is very dangerous for all the people that live around in that neighborhood. These bullets can fly through buildings, fly through houses and stuff, and just take people out. Real talk. And this is very, very bad. But I will say this, because Miss Ann on Facebook asked, what part of Pennsylvania is this? This is in Garfield, Pittsburgh. Okay? In Pittsburgh, Garfield, Pittsburgh. Okay? This is sad. But somebody said Falling Down, the movie Falling Down. I think it's what's his name? Michael Douglas, that movie. You have enough things pit up against you or pile on top of your shoulders. Eventually, it just depends on the strength of your own mentality, I guess. The strength of your own psyche, to the point where you break. And this is very sad. And it sounds like it's an internal situation. It's a family thing. It's a family situation here. But yes, Nur, exactly. We don't know what is true and what is not. All we know is what family have said in interviews. And all we know is if he starts firing off more stuff. If we hear more gunshots being fired, then we know for a fact he's still alive. But it seems as if there hasn't been much going on. Now, there could have been something where he did the unthinkable to himself, or he succumbed to some injury that he received during the exchange of gunfire. That's a possibility as well. But again, this is still an ongoing situation. And mind you, it's been going on since 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, y'all. Eastern Standard Time. So this has been going on for a while. 6+ hours already. 6+ hours. So this is not good. I'm hoping, like I said, we get this. I'm hoping that they detain him, they get him safely. Period. He needs to live.
Windows of the home being blown out by gunfire. Just really some stunning video this afternoon of this situation here in Garfield.
And then, Kelly, let's go to about 3 hours after this all began. We saw this. SWAT officers, as you see right there, taking someone out of that home. Now, we would learn that this was a rescue, and that person being taken out is not the suspect. That person, as you see, was put into the SWAT truck, taken away to safety, but a dramatic rescue in the middle of all of this. We've also heard from the White House this afternoon, and we're told, quote, the president has also been briefed on reports of the active shooter situation in the city of Pittsburgh.
And of course, neighbors all over Garfield heard that repeated gunfire today going off for hours.
It's just a terrifying afternoon. In fact, we spoke with one neighbor about what she heard.
They've been firing and firing and firing. I think that's totally outrageous. I was scared. And then my loved ones was calling me, asking me if I was okay. But I hope that soon that it'll be over.
What's it like seeing this unfold in your own neighborhood?
That's crazy. I just moved here in May. And for this to happen, I don't know. I mean, you take you with you everywhere you go. So it could happen anywhere.
And our team all day has been in the air, our crew up in Sky 4 and on the ground tracking this to bring you and all of us the very latest.
That's right. We've had Bob Mayo out there. Also, you saw Marcy Cipriani. We're joined now by Pittsburgh's Action News 4 reporter Ashley Zilka. She's been on the scene all day long. So, Ashley, from your vantage point, what can you tell us as to what's going on right now?
Well, we're on Penn Avenue, where, of course, there are a lot of businesses and activity. And you can see behind me, there are also multiple number of law agencies here. But this was also the spot where community gathered for hours, the neighborhood, just looking for more answers. We even talked to a 12-year-old boy. He was actually right there in front of the house when gunfire broke out.
So we were outside when it happened, and then when the when they started the fire. And then me and my cousin went right back inside and then just tried to bunker down.
It's really surreal. You know, normally this is a very safe neighborhood, and you know, I guess it just goes to show that the kind of thing can happen anywhere. So, but I just hope that it's not a reflection of the neighborhood itself, because, like I said, it's normally very safe, very friendly, very friendly.
Just a few.
Oh, that was weird. Hold on one second.
For stories
There
we
go.
heard, another woman I talked with said she lived just a few houses down from where this is all unfolding. She sheltered in place. She was told to call 911, give her address. That's when police came to her home. They escorted her out and brought her to safety. And I actually talked to her right here on Penn Avenue. She was waiting here until she knew it was safe to go back in. Of course, it is not at this time, so she is still out here. Another person, I'm right across the street from Allegheny Cemetery, and he was actually visiting family members when he heard gunshots. He said he had to duck and run for cover. So many stories out here, but the community really coming together. They're devastated and heartbroken, and again, in shock. Back to you.
All right, Ashley Zilka live for us this afternoon. Thank you, Ashley. And as we've been talking about, really all parts of Garfield affected, not just Broad Street and North Mathilda. Let's get out to Friendship Park.
Okay. And of course, they're just doing like the exterior around the premises, etc., which, you know, we'll circle back to him in a second. But there is some information that I'm sure a lot of us are curious about. And so, again, let me show this to you guys one more again. This is allegedly Bill Hardison's photo. This is him. Okay. And so just so you guys know, so Griffin reports that Hardison has been charged with firearm violations in the past and has spent time in jail, as well as some minor drug charges. According to Griffin, Hardison's family owns the home. So his family owns the home and has not been paying taxes on the property. So he's not been paying property tax. According to court documents, there have been at least 9 hearings concerning the property. That is what prompted the sheriff's office to serve an eviction notice. And yeah, that is very interesting indeed. So let me show you guys this really quick. Looks like there's another interview going on. Hold on. It's tripping hard now. What's up?
At the hospital is just focus on the patients. One
second, y'all. It's tripping. Come on.
When they were on a restricted lockdown and now under controlled access.
I don't know why it's doing this. I'll give it a second. But so what we have so far is, I guess,
as the situation continues to play out.
Okay.
Reporting
Be
live
nice.
In Friendship Park behind West Penn Hospital, Bob Mayo, Pittsburgh's Action News 4.
All right, Bob, thank you. Today's developing situation obviously impacting all parts of the Garfield neighborhood today. We thank you very much. Now, we do want to show you this once again. The evacuation is underway with officers evacuating people from homes. This is the 4800 block of Broad Street. Now, people inside are being told to shelter in place, then call 911 to identify your location and your address. From there, officers will then enter the area and guide you to safety. And Pittsburgh Regional Transit is diverting bus routes in that area this afternoon. We're told 88 Penn is on detour and is now offering Penn Avenue stops from Friendship to Nagley. Now, once again, Pittsburgh's Action News 4 reporter Marcy Cipriani has been on the ground all afternoon long. She's live near the scene right now. And Marcy, we're getting a listen to some of the recent gunfire that you heard live when you were there as this all unfolded.
Yeah, that gunfire, we actually timed it. It was about a minute. We crouched a little bit behind our vehicles. It was about a block and a half from where we are. Let's go ahead and take a listen to that gunfire from just a short time ago.
Damn.
That, as I mentioned, was about a minute long, and it was an exchange, what appeared to be an exchange of gunfire. Now, that followed what my source says were flashbangs sent in and then gas, and we were able to smell the gas in the area. We are right near North Millvale. I want to take a look. I'm going to move out of the way so that you can actually see behind us. Lots of police still in place here and sort of behind the homes there. I have heard, though, from my source shortly after that exchange of gunfire that the suspect may have been shot but was still shooting, that he was in the bathroom, and that they were going to be sending a robot up to the second floor to see if he had been injured or what his condition is. So at this point, I'm still waiting for my source to let me know what they were able to find, but obviously very active here, still on the scene. My source said every SWAT team in Western Pennsylvania is here. We know the state police are here, armored vehicles, lots of police here on the scene, still trying to assess whether the suspect is inside. He had been shooting. I'm going to guess at least 1,000 rounds were fired out here throughout the day. You heard those most recent ones. We haven't heard any since. So as soon as we get a little more information on what that robot discovers inside the home, we'll let you know. We do know, though, from my source that the suspect shot and took out 3 drones during the course of the day. So at this point, we haven't heard any additional gunfire since what we heard there. So
golly. That's crazy, though. That's absolutely crazy. I don't know why this thing's tripping now. It was running smoothly earlier, but now it's tripping. But
we've rarely seen anything quite like that here in the city of Pittsburgh.
Right, but hearing.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on or why it's tripping.
In that gunfire, we can understand why that presence was so strong. And now we're getting a look here from our Sky 4 feed and just kind of, going off what you were saying, just that large presence. At one point, state police asked us.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on.
If we could to pull Sky 4 back. They said it was going to be better for their communication. It was going to be too loud with the chopper there. So we wanted to make sure that we were doing our part to be as safe as possible. So we did do that. But Sky 4 was out there for a while, and that gave us a look at.
Yeah, this is terrible, guys. Well, as it's doing this thing, trying to figure out what the heck it wants to do, if it wants to work with me or not. I do want to show you guys a little bit of this as well. There's some other stuff that's been shown. Hold on, I had some of these things up and I put them away, but I do want to share this with you guys. So apparently this this individual, William, is in this YouTube video. So I wanted to share this YouTube video with y'all. One second, as it thinks. Now, according to the person who was posting this, the video has from several years ago of a man currently in a standoff with police in Garfield. And I guess he does not recognize the authority of Pittsburgh police. So I wanted to share this with you guys. Let's take a look at this.
They ain't got no fucking jurisdiction over us.
That's him over here.
They know this flag means. They know what this means.
Yeah.
Oh, they know what this means. They ain't dumb. They ain't dumb. They know this right to tell. They swore oath on this. They took an oath on this. Yeah, they took an oath on this.
This is crazy.
No, they swore oath on this, baby. No, they know. Y'all want to know today?
So just so you know, this gentleman right here in the white truck is allegedly this is allegedly the man who's in the house right now, William Hardison. Allegedly. This is a video from about four years ago. Just so you guys know. So I'm going to play a little bit more.
You don't know today, right? Y'all fictitious fake. That's what the U.S. citizens, they fake fictitious. Fake fictitious. That's what y'all are. Y'all got no jurisdiction over us.
Yeah, fuck it.
Sir, they ain't got no jurisdiction. This is our flag. You ain't allowed to know. They can't stop you from doing nothing. They get ready to get sued. Get out of here. Get your supervisor.
Oh, boy.
All this. I ain't none of y'all's jurisdiction.
Okay, Nicole just asked a question. I'm going to say it again. The man in the white truck that's talking to police right now and holding that piece of paper, that is William Hardison. William Hardison is the one who's in the house right now, firing off towards police right now, currently right now as we speak. The whole standoff that's happening is the guy who's in this video. There's a video that was recorded about 4 years ago. And of course, he don't like, apparently he doesn't like 5-0 so much. Okay, guys? So this is that man right here. 4 years ago, mouthing off, talking to, giving 5-0 his peace of mind. Here it is.
Fuck out of here.
Damn.
My man going.
He feels some type of way.
Pittsburgh, PA.
Fictitious.
Man threw a flag out this door, though.
I ain't playing this game. Y'all asses going to jail this time, baby.
He hurt.
I'm going to fire on all of y'all. A memorandum. Y'all don't have the Oaks and Bonds in 1938. The shit's going to get thrown out on that alone. The Oaks and Bonds in 1938, the foreign registrations.
See, this is what you need to know. Stuff you need to know, fellas, ladies.
You need to up the game a little bit.
Stuff you need to know.
Going nowhere. They got no jurisdiction over us. None. They ain't got the status. This ain't their land. This is my land.
There he is, guys.
This is my land. I'm a Moor. I'm allowed to travel this land. They swore an oath to this. This is the oath they swore on. They all know it. Need no license. I'm not under y'all's jurisdiction. I don't have a contract with y'all. There is no contract with y'all. I was just downtown with this same bullshit. Sorry, motherfuckers.
You see, I ain't touch him.
There he is, guys. Let me show you guys the photo one more again. There he is, and here he is too. This is the gentleman who's the active person in that house right now, firing off into the streets towards civilians, not only towards police, but also towards civilians as well. This was a video that was shot over 4 years ago. It has been seen over 70,000 times. And now he is in the middle of this now, which is crazy, to say the least, guys. So just so you guys can get a better idea of, get a better idea of what kind of person we're dealing with right now. And yeah, I'm not surprised that he has a lot of weaponry. I'm not surprised about that at all. I'm gonna keep it straight funky. After seeing that, I'm like, nope. I can see him fully set all the way up. All right. Well, hold on. Let me see.
Situation.
Letting it, I don't know why it's being choppy right now, guys, but pretty crazy. Okay. And yes, Nicole B, I completely agree 110%. He doesn't.
This is a very good neighborhood.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on, y'all.
have very good people here, so something like this don't happen.
But I will say, I mean, clearly he is somebody who is he's coming off like he's had enough. So something is up. Something is up.
Were impacted by this. You know, this is happening right in the middle of the day at a very busy.
Come on, man.
Mentioning the hospitals that are in proximity.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Let me see. I'm going to see if I can find another feed really quick. But please, guys, don't forget to hit that like button down below. And as of yet, yes, there really isn't any new news yet. He hasn't turned himself in, but there hasn't been any new noise, gunfires, or anything like that so far. They are in the middle of taking a
Oftentimes people are obviously getting there in an emergency situation, and then they're dealing with road closures.
They are in the middle of trying to see if he's still alive right now. Okay. This is terrible. I'm hoping that he's still alive. I'm hoping that he's just, I don't know, man, taking a nap. I don't know. I know that's crazy, but wishful thinking. But taking a break from, or maybe he ran out of ammo. Maybe he ran out of ammo. That's what I'm hoping for right here. But this is crazy. This is absolutely crazy. But you could see he's not somebody who, one, he clearly is not someone who is a fan of 5-0, but you can clearly see that he's somebody who doesn't take no for an answer, or, you know, is set in his own thoughts and his own ways. He's set in his own ways, and that's it. So this is terrible, y'all. This is absolutely terrible. I'm going to see if there's any other, because that's so far like the best coverage I've seen so far. But I'm going to see if there's anything else real quick. Yeah, so far nothing, man. Nothing, man. Hold on, guys.
He's in was owned by his brother. Now his brother died last year, and when his brother died, he passed along the property to their father.
Yeah, so far nothing. This is terrible, guys. And Truth Seeker, that's one thing we are trying to find out right now. I'm sure that this robot is taking its sweet time.
There was no will, but the courts decided that
I don't know. It's weird. Like the signal or something is bad or something weird. I don't know, y'all. But still, Sugar, I don't know. That's one thing we're still trying to find out. That's one thing I am still trying to find out as we speak. So hopefully I can get an answer relatively here soon. But they've been doing a face-off, basically a standoff, I'm sorry, for not John Travolta and Nicolas Cage. They've been doing a standoff for a minute now, for hours, okay? For hours. Let me see here.
That Hardison is a follower of this, it's called Moorish sovereign immunity. I
don't know what's going on, man. Yeah, but geez, this is terrible. So far, we don't know anything yet, guys. It's terrible. Okay. It's terrible, guys.
And
yeah, this is really terrible news, y'all. He obviously was really upset about the house being sold and all that. It's just really, really sad. Let me see if there's anything else, because right now there's no new there's nothing so far, but I'm going to check to see if X is saying anything, Twitter is saying anything right now. So far, I haven't seen anything. Just checking, guys, real quick. Yeah, so far I haven't seen really anything yet about him maybe surrendering or anything. And this is just really, really sad. This is really, really sad stuff, y'all. And God only knows how long it's going to be. And I'm how long it's going to be until he actually surrenders, or if they find him in there, in one piece. Again, I'm hoping that we can hear something soon, but I haven't heard anything as of yet, which is very frustrating. It's very, very frustrating. I'm still searching, guys. Hold on. I'm just checking to see if there's any more updates or anything of that sort. One second, y'all. Yeah, so far nothing so far. That's frustrating, guys. Fox 26. I'll check that. Let me see. Yeah, this is just a live shot of the spot. But yeah, it doesn't say anything yet. But let me see what you guys have to say here. Nicole just said, nephew said he wasn't going to go easily. Yeah, I don't know what he's going to do. It's crazy. It's heartbreaking to think that this is even really happening in this way. It's mind blowing. We'll see what happens here. I don't know what's going to happen here. No, you're not blocked. You're still here, Michelle. Noir, hi. We can still see you. You ain't blocked, girl. You good. You Gucci. Nothing to worry about. I'm going to see, because, yeah. This is just terrible. Oh, shoot. I got some not so great news, guys. Okay. Oh, yeah. Not so great news. Let's see what they say now. Oh, come on. Yeah. It is not being friendly anymore, man. Sorry, guys. I thought you guys could hear this. Just hearing me breathing. Gotta love that.
I'll be keeping you posted on developments here.
Sorry about that, guys.
On this part of this neighborhood.
Being a pain in the
bordering
butt.
Garfield and Bloomfield in this city public park, small park area, and the impact on this hospital, which is so near the scene. Reporting live, Bob Mayo, Pittsburgh's Action News 4. Back to you.
Bob, we thank you for the update. Now, of course, our coverage continues right here on Pittsburgh's Action News 4. But if you do have to break away, you can get the very latest on this developing situation in Garfield on the free WTAE mobile app. We'll send you instant alerts as new details develop in this ongoing case. All right, of course, the weather playing a role today as well as we turn to Pittsburgh's action weather. And right now we're watching for the potential for some strong storms to hit the area tonight.
Already you saw the reporters there with their umbrellas up. And Jeff, was that thunder we were hearing over our studios not long ago?
Yeah, maybe that's
isolated
why.
thunder and lightning in parts of the area. But
well, dang. Let me see what Fox Houston has to say now. I'm sure they got a few things going on. But yeah, that's just crazy, guys. Sad stuff, y'all. Yeah, and their live feed is over too. And it may be because of the rain. But yeah, no kidding. It's like, speaking of hostage, speaking of a standoff, it's time for some weather, Tiffany. So it's interesting. So we don't know. We don't know what's going on here. We don't know what the outcome is right now. We don't know if he's injured. We don't know if he's hurt. We don't know if he's gone. We don't know anything yet. All we know is that he was ready. So he must have known that they were coming for him to serve him some eviction notice. But still, no matter what, I mean, this is terrible. And you can see, I mean, it seems like he's a very hard, stubborn individual. Stands strong on his thoughts and his opinions. And there's no way of changing his thoughts. And it's bad. That video that we just saw before, during this whole thing, showing him speaking and protesting and, just saying his thizang, clearly it'd take a lot of work to take him or to make him change his mind. So we'll see what happens here. I'm hoping that this doesn't happen. The outcome is, I hope the outcome isn't bad, but Anthony's saying the veteran is gone. Well, I don't know. I have yet to hear anything about him being gone. I haven't heard any news about his passing at all. Let me see here, though. I'm just checking to see if there's maybe at the end of this video. What? Huh. Yeah, there's not really. I don't know if this is
absolutely terrifying. Not just the gunfire, but the sound of it, how long it went on. Of course, we continue to follow this tense situation, but just imagine actually living in that neighborhood in a place that's very quiet most days, suddenly erupting in gunfire.
At the very beginning of that video clip, you saw a police officer escorting someone who likely lived in that vicinity away from their home, just ducking, not even knowing where the gunfire was coming from. And you can just feel the fear. Absolutely terrifying out there. Right now, we want to bring in Pittsburgh's Action News 4 producer, Gabby Santaliquito, who's also been at that scene today. Gabby, I know you were kind of there at the beginning, so tell us what your experience was throughout the day and what you're hearing right now.
Yeah, Kelly and Andrew, right now it's pretty quiet from what it was earlier. We just actually saw at least 3 members of the SWAT team start to walk up toward where I am, which is the opposite way of where Penn Avenue is, and went up the corner, maybe back toward where the house is actually located. But about an hour ago is probably the last round of shots that we heard fired. And that went on back and forth for probably a minute and a half. Was definitely the loudest over the last 5 or so hours that we've heard. And definitely a very, very scary situation.
Well, Gabby, it's good to know that you are safe. We do want to ask you, I mean, you live there and you actually have not been able to get to Channel 4 today because of all this unfolding. So if you can kind of take us through your day, what you experienced when you first knew something was going on and what happened from that point moving forward.
Right. So at first this morning, we just heard a bunch of sirens going down the street, which living around a bunch of hospitals, you know, unfortunately that isn't something out of the norm, but
of course it does this. Well, okay, guys.
then pretty quickly after that, you hear the shots being fired.
So yeah. So right now there's not a whole lot. I mean, obviously they're still waiting to see if there's something that's going to happen here. Unfortunately, I got to wrap up this show right now, but this is crazy. This is absolutely crazy. And this is very, very devastating. This is not how this should be going, period. This is not how this situation should have started and how this should have ended, or how it's going to end. The way it sounded like it seems like he doesn't want to go down without a fight. It seems like he wants to go down because of whatever he feels. And it's clear to me that there's some sort of mental health issue going on. To me, there's a mental health issue for sure. Because why would you to me, something's not right. But at the same time, we're going to find out more information as time goes on. This is really, really sad. This is very, very sad. But really quick, Lo Stevens, thank you so much for the $2. Thanks for covering my city. Of course, Lo. Stay safe out there because it's pretty crazy out here, y'all. It is pretty crazy out here. Okay. But anyway, guys, I'll let you guys know if there's any more information. All right. If there's more information that pops off, I'll let you guys know. I promise you guys that. But right now, let's see what happens here. I don't know. This is maddening. This is madness. Okay. But I'm hoping that he comes out of this alive and safe. I hope they detain him safely. That's what matters the most in my personal opinion. So we'll see what happens here. But do me a favor, guys. Appreciate all y'all for being here. Every single last one of y'all. Please do me a favor before you head off. Don't forget to hit that like button down below. For those of y'all who are watching on Facebook, hit that reaction button down below. Of course, do not forget to hit that subscribe button. I do have some breaking story that I'm going to be giving you guys in just a minute on a case I've been covering as well. It's not great news, but we're going to be talking about that very, very shortly. So please be sure to hit that subscribe button. If you're watching on YouTube, hit that follow button on my Facebook page. And of course, yes, please, if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you hit that notification bell so you know whenever I go live or whenever I upload, because it is random. Okay, guys? But anyway, guys, it's time to get going. I'll let you guys know if there's any updates about this very, very soon, as soon as it comes out. Okay? I'll see you guys soon. Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. And I'll see you guys in the next show. This is the Pascal Show. Bye.